Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris with Digital REM, also known as Dream Bigger on my handle. But we're going to just go ahead and hop right into this Blender course where we're going to show you how to apply materials to your objects. So apply colors and things like that to your objects. Let's just give you a quick breakdown of what we're going to do here. So quick breakdown being, we're going to show you how to apply a shader for one. We're going to show you how to apply multiple shaders to one object, so doing multiple different types of materials on one object, and then we're going to show you the different shader settings to get you started. So let's just hop right into it. All right, let's go. Boom, we in here. Yeah, okay, come on. So let me just pull up Blender real quick. Boom, you got Blender going. Close my little desk here, you know, get comfortable best we can. Boom. So usually you'll start with Blender like this, like the scene will look something similar to this when you first open in Blender. Simple enough. If you don't remember how to navigate, revisit the navigation how to navigate video to, you know, get a refresher on how to navigate. So we're just going to transform this object up on the Z axis. Again, you can click over here to do all the move options, or you can do the shortcut. So I'm hitting G to do the shortcut, and I'm gonna hit Z to just do it on the Z axis, just like that. And hopefully, I'm gonna try to call out everything I do so you can get it, or just use the handles here, and you can do that as well. Using the handles will probably be better for you to see. So if you select this, you'll get all of them where you scale, rotate, and translate your objects with the little arrow. So we'll just use that for now. But we're not really going to worry about scaling. We're just going to start to apply some materials to this object. So the first thing you want to do is get into object mode. You can hit Tab or hold Tab and drag to where you want to be. So we were in object mode. You can hold Tab and drag into edit mode, or you can go up to this drop down menu and it goes through the different modes. So you want to go into edit mode. All right, inside of edit mode, and then you don't necessarily have to be in edit mode, but we will need to learn how to get into edit mode when we're applying multiple materials to one object. So for now, let's just stay in object mode. So the first thing we're going to do is apply a material. So let's go ahead and apply a material real quick. Boom. I always like to hit it, toggle on use nodes when I do my material, so I can get the full all the possible materials that I can get. Feel like my screen isn't really big right there, so I'm just widening this up so we can just see a little more, get a little more information here. So we have a material already applied here. We probably won't be able to tell it's a material because we do have these, we have to put it on the rendered settings. So we're gonna go ahead and toggle the rendered mode here. Viewport shading, that mode there. So that's a material preview and this is a render preview. So the render preview is gonna give you more accurate to what you're gonna see when you do render your image out. So we're gonna go ahead and we have one light in the scene, so that one light is giving us the shadows here. So we're just gonna go on the side that has the light is hitting, so we can get somewhat of a better feel for when the light hits it, what the color is. So when you have a material, you can just hit this base color, just left click the base color, and you'll be able to drag and pretty much select any color you want here. So we're going to go with something more along the Digital REM blue here. Boom, we had that one color there. So you also can put in your hex codes and things like that if you do have a hex code. So you can do that. You might notice all of these other settings which you can also apply. So that was the first thing. We showed you how to apply material, one material. So we're gonna actually rename this material 1 like so. So that'll be material 1. We applied that. It has all the shading to it, so on and so forth. So now we're gonna do the second part of the lesson, is applying two materials to one object. So this is where I was talking about we're gonna go into edit mode. So in edit mode, or better yet, before we go into edit mode, let's go ahead and make a new material first. So we're gonna push this plus button here on the side, add new material set, boom. Make new, hit the new button. We're gonna call this material 2 just so we know the difference. Oh, material 2, just so we know the difference or have it labeled differently. We're gonna do a different color. Let's do this one like a purple or pinkish purple, like this right here. Boom, that works. So that's gonna be material 2. So this object currently has material 1 assigned and a material 2 assigned, but you might not notice that there is no purple on this actual object because we actually have to assign it to a specific face. So let's go ahead and do that. And like I was trying to fast track into edit mode because I already knew where I was going, we're gonna go ahead and go into edit mode. So hold down tab, edit mode, or go up here, edit mode. So what we want to do is select the face. If you're having a hard time selecting a face, if you're trying to select a face being this right here, if you're trying to select a face and you can't select it, make sure this one is turned blue. Because right now it was turned to vertices where you only can select vertices. This one you only can select edges. This one you can select faces. So we're going to do is select faces. Now after you already have a face selected, you could just simply, shift select if you want multiple faces, but if you have a face selected, just go over here where the material is, you can go to material properties, where the material is, make sure you're on material 2 and hit assign. And now what you had selected is assigned to the faces you've selected. Boom. So you can see the light's hitting it. It's on the shadow side there. It's on the regular side or the lit side there. Boom. So we're gonna go ahead and do one more just for good measure. We're gonna add one more material. Boom. We're gonna make this material 3. What color should this be? Probably like an orange, maybe. So we're gonna go ahead and make this base color and move it over to orange, orangish. Trying to think of something that's more along the lines of what that goes along with these colors. So we're gonna do that. Boom. So we're gonna select an edge. Select the face to select the face, and then we're gonna assign. Make sure you have the orange selected, material 3, and assign. So now we have 3 materials assigned to this one object, like so. Boom. It's just that simple. Now we're going to go into the different settings for the materials, because that's the other important part of the equation. So how these materials look when the light hits them is what it's going to calculate. So right now we're on the surface principle B. Let's go to the first material we had. Material 1. And all of these can have different settings, different properties. So we're going to go with material 1. We have it, we don't have the node selected because you can tell when the node is selected, you have this surface because it calculates the surface type, and that's what you want. So this surface type, we want to make, you have all of these different options. If you left click on it, you have all of these different options of different shaders. One of the main shaders that you would use will more than likely be principle BSDF, and that's going to give you all your specular, base colors, displacements, things like that. So most of the things you do need, but we are going to cover just some other stuff as well, just so you can get a feel for the different types of shaders, because this is surface is really the type of shader that you're applying, so like a surface shader. So we're gonna go ahead and select this, and let's do something that's extremely different. Let's do something extremely different for material. Actually, let's do something extremely different for, I got messed up my blue somewhere. There we go. Fix my blue. Boom. All right. because I changed it in a different type of without use nodes, it didn't save what I had selected before. But we went ahead and fixed it. Make sure all the rest of these are right. Boom, all the rest of them are right. So to keep it simple, let's just stay with Principled BSDF. Let's just keep it simple for now. Then we'll go into a little more changing the shaders. So if you scroll down, you have your base color, which you can see when you change your base color, it just changes the color of your object. Boom. You have your subsurface, which usually calculates what's under the surface, like skin. When you can see kind of like your blood under your skin when the light's in front of it, you can see like subsurface objects. Or like your ear, when you know the light hits through your ear and you can kind of see the vessels through your ear. It's like for objects like that. But the main thing you would change is like specular. So making an object more and less specular. So the more specular an object is, the more of mirror-like qualities it might have. And you might not be able to tell. So I'm gonna do something real quick. We're not gonna cover this in this lesson, but it'll make it easier for you to see these objects if we add a HDRI image to the whole scene. So this is like a different type of lighting. Instead of relying only on that one base light, this is lighting that it'll light the whole scene a little differently. So now you can see there's a sun here. Actually, let's do something a little more neutral, like a let's just stay with that. All right, and get rid of this light here. Boom. So essentially we're making this environment light up our scene. That's all we're doing. Boom. So you can see the clouds through here. Let's watch the specular. So when you decrease the specular, it's not as shiny. When you increase it, you can see the sun there. It gets a little shinier, like that. If you increase the roughness, it starts to get more of a matte look to it. So again, you want to mess with the specular, mess with the roughness, and that's what you get there. This is no specular here. I mean, no roughness at all. So you're getting very sharp, just like a mirror. Very sharp reflections. Very, very sharp reflections. So we're gonna add a little bit of roughness. I think you get the point what I'm trying to portray here. So with specular and roughness, you just want to play around with the actual settings here. So I say something around like right there is fine for me, and that's just for the for that material. And as you probably noticed, it doesn't do it for the other materials. So we're gonna leave that one there, and we're gonna go to the second material that we made. Hey Google, turn off. So we're gonna go for this second material that we made. The music was starting to get like outrageous. All right. It looks like the sky strength is a little harsh for me. I wasn't trying to bring too much of the sky into this lesson, but nah, just leave it. All right. Actually, let me see if I just change it to a studio. It'll just make it better. Now let's just stay with the sky, because we'll be able to see the sky and the clouds and stuff like that. All right, so we're gonna do the orange now. So you can see the orange is a lot brighter than the orange we have set here. We're gonna do the specular, because what's happening is that light is the light from the concrete. Let's turn the environment back on. The light from the concrete, or the reflection from the concrete, is bouncing off of this and making it brighter than it is. So, but you can see we're increasing the specular. You can see we decreased the roughness, and now you can see the sky and the horizon better. like that. If you increase the specular, decrease the specular, just like that. Boom. So now you kind of get a feel for what specular and roughness is. You kind of want to stay never too hard on the specular, but you'll get the flow of how it should be. All right. There are other options. Definitely play around with these options. You know, read up on them. Do you use them often? Probably not. Pretty much once you can come into principal BSDF, you're gonna worry more about the specular and the roughness at the end of the day. You can do clear coat. It gets into kind of the same thing as specular and roughness. IOR is very important. So you can, when you're doing IOR, and we'll cover this in later lessons when we're modeling like diamonds and jewelry and glass and things like that, they have a calculation that you put in this part of the shader, and it would calculate it correctly, the IOR. Transmission, again, read up on this stuff. Emission, it can give off light, you know, same kind of like transmission. Like when light hits it, does it bounce with this orange or this purple or this blue bounce off? When light hits it, will it bounce off and kind of emit light in a way, like a reflector or something? That's a bad example, but read up on it, you'll get it. But these are where all the options are at. So go and dive into them. You can definitely, if you are curious about an option, like let's say we're curious about you know, transmission, you can always right click and go to online manual, and it'll show you exactly what the options are, or tell you about that that setting. So we're just gonna leave that there to keep it simple. But essentially we showed you how to, you know, apply a material to an object, apply multiple materials to different faces on an object, so multiple materials on one object, and then how to just toggle some of these settings. So one of the other things I want to cover, going back to the shader thing, so the surface part, you have all of these options. So let's say we want to turn the purple one. Let's do the purple one. We want to turn the purple one into like a glass. So now if it's a glass, we should be able to see through the purple one. And usually alpha blend, maybe alpha blend, and then you can see through it a little bit, but it's really faint, and I don't like it. So again, glass is a thing, and I'm sure if we try to go ahead and render this, because I'm thinking that's probably what's going on, if you try to render the image, it might do better or might not. Who knows? But again, roughness. There we go. Roughness. Turn the roughness down. Then you'll get a glass like material. Then if you want it, you know, want to be able to see through with the transparency, boom. And you have all of these different options to go through. Again, I'm trying to keep it fast, so it may seem like I don't know what I'm doing, but it's, you know, it's definitely something I have to have a forward thought of what I'm trying to do before I actually get in here and toggle these settings. But I'm not going to continue to mess with glass right now, because I really think it's just because this is environment, it's really not showing what I wanted to show. But with that being said, we're going to go back to surface, and another one is like emission. Emission is a good one because emission is just like light. It's going to act just like a light. So if I have a object, and let's say I render this image, and hold on, I think I know what's going on here. Oh, I'm in Eevee render. You know, go to cycles. Cycles, key. That cycles is key if you're for me, if you're rendering more realistic images, so cycles is where you want to be. And kind of tie back to what I was just saying, that yeah, if I had a forethought of what I was gonna do, I would have already kind of had this set up exactly how I wanted to set up. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna add, so we can see this working. Add mesh plane, boom. Scale that plane up, boom. Grab this, bring it down, 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 like that. Now we should be able to see. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and let's turn the strength, sun strength, sky strength all the way down to 0. Now you can see the purple acts like a light. We could turn this one into a light too. Let's do this emission. Let's make that our digital REM blue. Boom. Let's pull it up just a little bit, like that. You see what's happening here? Both of these lights are working off of this ground, off of this floor. So that's essentially what an emission shader is. It acts just like a light. You can use any object in the scene as a light, or as not as a light, but it would emit lights or emit the colors that that surface is assigned. But again, you have all these multiple things to choose from. But really, at the beginning stages, the main thing you want to focus on is principal BSDF, glass, and then also the emission shader. These other ones, they are good, to know about. But for beginners, just to get started, these are the main ones you should know about. And then if you want to do homework on the other ones, you definitely could do homework on the other ones. And we're going to cover one more thing, one more extra tidbit to lead into future videos that are more advanced. So once you have your shader set up here, this right side is like the basic get your shader started starter pack, right? If you want to call it that. What you're going to end up doing, you're going to break up your screen, and you can break up your screen, watch the other videos, but you can break up your screen by grabbing a corner and holding and dragging. So you're going to break up your screen. We're going to make this one our actual, like we had before. We're going to make that one. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of this so we can see. Get rid of that, get rid of this. And you're going to go up to this little, where you can assign your window, like what type of window. And we're going to do a shader editor. And that's essentially what's going to happen is now you're going to have a lot more control on what you can do with this actual shader, this actual color, where now you can make patterns in it or give it texture or bumps and things like that. So we're going to cover that in a later video when we're going into the shader editor. But this is a great place to stop, where you can go back, get a refresher, rewatch this, play around with some of the settings, make some new objects, apply some colors to them, and have some fun. Just what we showed before. So don't necessarily worry about this right now, but in a future lesson we are going to get into that, because that's how you will manipulate the things on the other side. So we're going to get into that, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. Let me go ahead and pop out of this screen. So I hope this video was helpful for you. It pretty much is a good starting point to really get familiar with Blender. We covered in the previous lessons how to add objects to Blender. Now you know how to color those objects in Blender, so you're that much closer to making your objects look good, but then creating your vision that you had for your objects. So pretty much have fun with this. Have fun with this. Go back, do it over and over again. Push the right click to see what the different settings are and how they affect your lighting in your scene, and how they affect the shader that you're applying to them and the materials that's on them. And again, the shader also encompasses where we had colored up. Shader also encompasses where you can insert images or textures. So that's going to be another later lesson, but just get familiar with what we covered in this lesson. This is applying materials to your object. So that's how we're going to do that. Hey, don't forget, subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. Chime in on what you like, chime in on what you don't like. I would love feedback, definitely feedback on what you want to see, because this is this is content for y'all, so we can empower people to get more comfortable with Blender and create, you know, pretty cool stuff. So I'm gonna just leave that here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and y'all take care. Have a good one. Later, y'all. Peace.